Hi everybody, my name is Ahmad Jeffrey and today I'll be talking about the ins and outs of group work. Most importantly, I'll be talking about the pros and cons of working in groups, what are some effective and efficient ways of making sure everything goes smoothly, and lastly, some advice and personal experience that I have had.
So I'm sure most of us have done group work in the past, but today I'll be going through an in-depth review on group work. So, in this slide, we can see the content page of my presentation on what I will be diving into specifically today. First, we have the pros of working in groups. Then, I will explore more on the cons of group work. Thirdly, I'll be sharing some tips and tricks that I myself have used in the past to handle certain situations in a professional group setting. Lastly, I'll be giving some personal experience on different situations where I had to work with a difficult group. Now, I will first dive into the pros of working in groups. As the common saying goes, 2 heads are better than 1. Working with multiple people as opposed to alone has many advantages. Firstly, we have information sharing. This is one of the key functions of group work. By working together with multiple minds, we can learn from one another and help each other find out new factors of a certain topic that everyone is working on as a team. On to the second pro. We have increased creativity. Some of you may now be scratching your heads and wondering, how does working with others help boost our creativity? Well, when you brainstorm new ideas with others, do you notice that you often use each other's opinions and add on to one another's contributions? Like trees in a jungle help one another to grow. This thus can often help us broaden our mindset too, and open our minds to new possibilities. Last but not least, one of the most useful benefits of group work is delegating the workload of the team. Like I said previously, 2 heads are better than 1. By having an even distribution of effort between groupmates of a project, you can often find that progress is made much quicker. This is because the workload is now spread out with each member doing their own part. For example, just one bee building the hive gets work done much slower than 3 bees working together as a team to build the same hive. So now I will be moving on to the next section of the presentation, which is the cons of working with others in a group. The first con that I will be talking about is often the first obstacle of group projects. This is the trouble of having to synchronize the schedules of all group mates in order for the whole team to meet up together simultaneously. This is very important, as having a group discussion usually requires the attendance of all members in order for information to be passed on smoothly. However, people often have different individual schedules and timetables, which makes it difficult to set a specific time for the whole group to meet together. This is why, even though it is one of the most important factors of groupings, which is to have a synchronized schedule with all your group mates, it is often the most difficult obstacle to climb over. The second con is free riders, also known as freeloaders. These group members gain the same recognition and credit as other group members, even though they put in little to no effort as compared to their other members. These freeloaders leech off the hard work of others but gain the same benefit as those who worked possibly even twice as hard. The issue with having a freeloader as well extends to the fact that the progress and efficiency of the group's work is often hindered due to one less contributing member. The next con that I will be talking about revolves around the ideas and opinions of group members. Almost no 2 minds are the same, and this causes a large issue. there is often two scenarios that are possible. The first scenario involves groupthink. Groupthink is the practice of thinking or making decisions as a group. This is an issue as ideas discussed are left unchallenged. Thus, flaws of a suggestion are often not addressed or improved upon. The other scenario that is possible is the conflict of views between group members. This occurs when two or more ideas thought of by members of the same group contradict one another. Many times, this causes tension within the group. This is why it is important that when working with others, you should always try to find a compromise, also known as a middle ground, to resolve conflicts, which I will go deeper in depth later. So now for the next segment, I'll be talking about tips and tricks that I personally use whenever I have a group project to do. Firstly, like I stated before, in the event that conflict arises between group members, always try to find a compromise, also known as a middle ground. This is a very important feature because by having a middle ground, usually every party that is involved is happy because you take bits and pieces of everyone's ideas and put them together and find a new solution to fix an issue. Thus, everyone gains the same amount of recognition as one another and the same amount of contribution. Secondly, you must always keep an open mindset when working with others. This is very important as not everyone has the same mindset. Not everyone thinks of the same things in life. There's always different perspectives for every individual. So by keeping an open mindset, we are more open to remembering that others are not the same as us and everyone has their own pace of learning, doing work, and how they approach a situation and how they do work. So by keeping an open mindset, this can help to prevent conflicts between group members as less tension will occur. Last but not least, you must always communicate with one another. This is the most important tip that I can give to anyone who is going to work with other people. The reason why this is very important is because communication always helps to stop misunderstandings between each other. Not just that, but by communicating with each other, we know what everyone is going through. Because sometimes when you are doing a group work, you may not know that a member out there is going through a tough time and maybe they are unable to have the time to do the work as well as other people. So because of that, by communicating, we understand each other's situation properly. And this helps in terms of how we relate to one another and how well we can work with each other. So, final thank you to everyone watching this video. It was actually a little difficult for me to make the last part, which was about personal experiences, because there have been times where conflicts come up between team members, and some of these team members are actually my close friends that I count as my brothers or sisters, or that I'm very close to in general. And whenever there's a conflict, we try not to bring personal matters into the situation as much as possible, but we do try to take consideration with one another, and we try to keep in mind that everyone else has different situations, maybe at home or personally, mentally. Not just that, but whenever you are working with a group of friends, try not to mix up your friendship with your group project, because one of them is your personal life and another one is your professional life. So try to always keep the distinction between each other, and whatever happens during a group project, my advice is that don't let it fall into your personal life, because I have seen friends that have broken up their friendships just because of a misunderstanding during a group project. That is my personal take on this matter. Thank you all for watching again. Have a nice day.